I'm back. So I had this idea that I was going to play my Nancy Drew game live. Then I realized the webcam comes on when I'm live. So how would I do that? Because my screen recording software that I bought is called Bandicam or Bandicam. And it's all so confusing. There's something about a codec, and it's very confusing. So I just don't think I should do it. I shouldn't even try to do it. New year, new glasses. I really need new glasses. But first, I'm probably going to need a new subscription. Prescription. Okay, so Herb is sitting on the pillow cutely. I just boiled some water and I'm going to put it in my little cup and keep pushing my glasses up. I was trying to think of another rhyme, but I couldn't. Oh, well. Okay. I'm going to put my water in my cup. And see, I don't do technical things. I don't like technical things. I just like to play the game and not have to do anything technical. So I don't know how to do that. Oh, I know why the cat was in the sink. I left my other tea bag in there. Excuse me. No, that's caffeine. You don't need caffeine. You're crazy enough. What you need is the opposite of catnip. That's what you need. I need a spoon. I need a spoon. Excuse me. Where's my little spoon? I've lost my spoon. Oh, it's over here. My Bambi spoon. Can you see this and tell me, does this say, or does this, can you see Bambi? It's Bambi. Okay. It's dark out. It's completely dark out. Oh, I remember what I was going to do. I was going to go get a Q-tip so I can clean the web camera. I got it. I mean, I got one, not it, because there's many. You know, Blondie and Debbie Harry. So I was looking at pictures of her from the 70s. She has platinum blonde hair and it's messy, but it looks good. And I said, how come my hair can't look like that? It's blonde and messy. My hair's blonde and messy. Why doesn't it look good? Yes. So I recorded chapter 8 earlier of, that's hot. The Twin Dilemma. I'm not having a good time with the book itself. Like, not the story, but the book. It's all falling apart. It's a paperback. It's all falling apart. The story's okay, but I prefer the older ones. Like, I don't really care what happens to anyone in the book, except Bess is pretty funny in it. Yeah, Bess is pretty funny. Who's there? Who's there? I want live chat. Oh, okay, nobody's here. So I don't really have anything to say except Happy New Year. And I had to get some groceries. My hair is interesting. So like this piece is like that, and then this is like that, and then it's all like that. You know that look where it's messy, but it looks like it's a it looks good? I don't have that going on at the moment. It's okay. I read let's see, what did I do today? I tried to sing with Bruce Johnston. I recorded a poem, recorded a little update. I gotta take these things off, driving me insane. And I recorded chapter 8, and then I thought, you know what? Maybe I should record chapter 9. But I didn't. I think I'm going to read it first and then record it. I drank a coffee, I ate some stuff. I played with Herb. It's January 2. I have to practice breathing and sitting up straight. This is how I normally sit. Well, you can't really tell, but this is me sitting up straight. And this is my normalness. So the lungs are full. Do your lungs fold? Can your lungs fold in half? Because usually if they can, then my lungs are usually folded. And that can be good, right? That can be good. Really would like to order some pizza. I never order food anymore, but maybe I should do that. But I hate waiting. Oh, it's like, come on. And then having to go to the door and stuff. And you never know who's going to be delivering. Will it be someone who wants to talk your ear off? But, it's fun to watch the roots grow back in because that means it's just getting longer. It's at the length where I can kind of put it up, but not really. And that's pretty frustrating. It's pretty frustrating. So I better grab a book or something. Does anyone remember? Well, hopefully I put a bookmark in it. I'm going to get the Leaning Chimney book. Wait a minute. I gotta put something on in the background. It's on mute. Don't you worry. Let's see. What should we put on in the background? Flowers artwork. This one's, no, it's a bit too busy. Oh my gosh, there's so many to choose from. Well, okay, that's upcoming. Okay, let's try some sunflowers. Okay, I put some sunflowers on for you. Wow. Where's my book? Guess what? See that? There's a bookmark. Kitten's all curled up on the pillow. Should I put some, you know what? I could get an elastic. I have some long elastics. Maybe I could do something to keep these on my face. Just wait. These are pretty long elastics. I'm laughing like George McFly. But it works. Okay. They're a little too tight. Stop laughing. Oh my God, they're too tight. There's a happy medium here. I think I just invented something. It's not impeding my vision at all, except my eyelashes are touching now. Okay. If it was a little bit looser, okay. That hurts. Well, okay. Oh man, no, it's touching my eyelashes. Oh, it was almost perfect. And that hurts my nose. Okay, but All right, here we go. They are the marks of Eng Moy. I'm just going to say it like that. He whispered, "Oh, they are the marks of Eng Moy," he whispered. "My missing friend, Eng Moy." Eng Moy? Nancy. Oh, wait. Chapter 12, A Jade Elephant. I love jade. I want to go to, what is it? Oh, wait, am I smelling my tea or is that guy next door smoking pot? The tea smells like oranges and stuff. He's out there smoking pot. Hold on. God, I remember when it used to be illegal. I remember the days of prohibition. Yep. Oh, wait. I've got some forest stuff. Whenever I watch Twin Peaks, I have to put this stuff that smells like the forest on me. I don't know if it's Douglas fir, but it's called Dense Forest. And I go like this. It's not an essential oil. It says fragrance. So I assume I can put it all over me. I mean, I put a lot of essential oils. They're like, you have to use a carrier, like put it in almond oil or something. And I'm like, heck no, I just put it on. I put it on my face. I try not to put them too near my eyes, but now it smells like the forest. Chapter 12, A Jade Elephant. Eng Moy, Nancy gasped. Mr. Soong nodded slowly, as if he still could not believe it himself. I would know my friend's signature anywhere. But I don't understand, Nancy said. If Eng Moy made the jewel box, why didn't he sign his name on the bottom? Why did he work it into the design where it can barely be seen? Need a podium or something. That I myself do not understand. Mr. Soong turned the box bottom up. Several Chinese characters were painted on the base. It is from the Wan Li period, the last great epoch of art in the Ming Dynasty, Mr. Soong stated. Eng Moy did not make the vase, so he could not have put his initials on it. There's no question that the box is authentic? Nancy asked. Why do you ask? Nancy told the Chinese about the two symbols that were Eng Moy's signature concealed in the design of the Townsend's vase. That piece, the one sold to Mrs. Marsden in New York City, was an imitation of an old vase, she added. I have to put my tea on the other side. Let me know if you can hear me, okay? I'm moving my microphone back a little. I'm looking at the kitty. I'm moving this over here. And I'm putting this here. Mr. Soong stared at Nancy in hurt bewilderment. She decided to avoid offending him further, but she wanted to explore the possible link between Eng Moy and the swindler David Carr. Perhaps if I learn where this jewel box came from, it will help us find the Engs, she said. Mr. Soong's face lit up. A splendid idea. Nancy wandered about among the wedding guests until she found the bride's mother. Then she asked discreetly if she knew where the attractive old jewel box had come from. Why, Mrs. Dareth gave my daughter the box, the hostess said kindly. It came from that lovely antique shop in Westville. Nancy knew the store and its proprietor. She made a beeline for the telephone, Ned close by. A swell way to enjoy a reception, he grumbled in mock disapproval as Nancy dialed. As soon as I finish this call, she promised, we'll go have some more refreshments. You're on, he grinned. And furthermore, we're going from the reception direct to the country club. There's a dance tonight, and some of us have fixed up a little party. Fine, Nancy beamed. Hello, Mrs. Lorimer? This is Nancy Drew of River Heights. She told the owner, sorry, it's like, my glasses aren't falling off. She told the owner of the shop where she was, then asked about the jewel case. Isn't it lovely? The woman effused. Now let me see. Oh, yes, I purchased that piece several weeks ago from Mr. David Carr. Was he a man of medium height with rather piercing eyes? Is he from San Francisco? Nancy asked. Why, yes. You know him. I've heard of him. He's a thief, Mrs. Lorimer. If he should show up again, will you please tell the police right away? At that instant, Bess Marvin rushed up to Nancy. Come on, quick! Nancy said goodbye to Mrs. Lorimer and hung up. The bride's going to throw her bouquet, Bess said excitedly. Don't you want to catch it? She asked, glancing sidewise at Ned. Nancy blushed and rushed away to where eager hands hoped to catch the symbolic next to be married bouquet. But she stayed in the background. The maid of honor caught the white roses. And Ned heaved a giant sigh of relief. Let's see, am I going to burn myself? Not at all, not at all. Lorimer. Made me think of movies, but that's Lorimer. I like the name Lorimer. While waiting for the bride to change to traveling clothes and come downstairs, Nancy noticed some guests she had not seen before. There were Dick Milton and his wife Connie. Joining the couple, she learned they had just arrived. Dick had not been able to get away from his shop, and Connie had had no one with whom to leave the baby. Sue's outside in her carriage, Connie explained, after being introduced. It's a shame you missed the wedding, Nancy declared. Please let me know when you want to go out. I'll be glad to babysit for you. That's awfully sweet of you, Nancy. I hate to take you up on it right away, but are you free on the 19th? Connie asked. Oh, I thought she meant like go out right now. Yes, I'll come over. I'd love to go to a luncheon party that day, Connie explained. Dick's going out of town to see about some different kind of clay. Not China clay, Dick spoke up quietly. Haven't had any luck, Nancy? She told him of her recent search and how both of Miles Monroe's clues to the China clay pit had led to the mysterious enclosure in the woods. The first chance I have, I'll go out there. I hope you'll... Oh, that was Nancy talking. Sometimes I don't know who's talking. The first chance I have, I'll go out there. I hope you'll find the clay, Dick replied. The sooner I repay Mr. Soong, the better. There's not much chance of my doing it unless something big comes my way. The bride's ready to leave, an excited girl called out, and paper rose petals were tossed at the bride and groom as they hurried down the stairs and through the hall to the front porch. Then a car door banged, and the couple were off on their honeymoon. Ned found Nancy, and after saying goodbye to their host and hostess, they left for the country club with a group of friends. Later, when the dance was over, Ned helped Nancy into the car and slid in behind the wheel to drive home. Let's take the Three Bridges Road, she said. Do you expect to find Manning Carr at Hunter's Bridge? He asked teasingly. Well, things seem to happen there, Nancy replied. He may use it as a meeting place. Ned swung the convertible onto Three Bridges Road and drove swiftly toward River Heights. When the car approached the twisting turns, Ned pressed on the brake and coasted. As they slowly rounded the final curve in the series of turns, Nancy stared intently at the underbrush a short distance back from the road. At the spot where she had previously seen a man's footprints, she now saw only the black shadows of the night. Nancy turned her attention to the opposite side of the road, while the car continued slowly toward Hunter's Bridge. What's going to happen? Beats me. Pretty good tea. Hi, everybody who's here. 3 people. Hi, Samuel. Again, every time I see you on there, I think of when I put you in timeout. Not too long, they told me that there are like new timeouts. You can put the person in timeout for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm not putting him in timeout. Where was I? Opposite. Nancy turned her attention to the opposite side of the road. Hi, Jake Boston. While the car continued slowly towards Hunter's Bridge. Suddenly, behind some bushes at the edge of the creek, where it curved under the bridge, Nancy saw the small white glow of a flashlight. It's an elephant. Look, she pointed excitedly, then took her own flashlight from the front compartment of the car. Stop, she told Ned. Let's investigate. They got out and crept down the embankment toward the light Nancy had seen. The couple stepped carefully, avoiding twigs and stones that might make a sound and betray their presence. As they neared the shrubs, the light went out. Nancy and Ned hardly dared to breathe, but they saw no one. Finally, Nancy beamed her flashlight ahead. The next moment, she had kicked off her shoes and was wading into the water. I don't know how to. Ned is about to exclaim something, and I'm not sure how to do it because I'm not sure what he's seeing. What? Ned exclaimed. Nancy was soon on the other side of the narrow. I don't know how to exclaim that. Nancy was soon on the other side of the narrow, shallow stream. She swooped up something from the ground and played her flashlight beam on it. What is it? Ned called. She held up the object, a green jade elephant about 3 inches long and 2 inches high. How'd that get here? Ned asked. Someone just dropped it, Nancy replied, and I don't believe he meant to. I'll come over and help you find him, Ned offered. Is the elephant any good? As Nancy was about to say she thought it was Mr. Soong's valuable jade piece, there came the roar of a motor. My car! Nancy cried out and ran back across the stream. Slipping into her shoes, she dashed after Ned, who was already halfway up the embankment. 2 feet from the top of the slope, they knew the worst. Nancy's convertible was speeding away into the night. End of chapter 12. How many times does Nancy's convertible get stolen? A very many times. The ivory charm, perhaps? Do you like my contraption that I made to keep my glasses on? Pretty ingenious, if you ask me. Herb's looking at me like I'm an idiot. I'm just kidding. He's sleeping. Yeah, I don't. Oh, man. Ghost Dogs of Moonlight. Those woods. I went on the forums and I found a spoiler or like a cheat. And it was like left, right, left, right. But I don't know exactly where that's starting from. Like, is it before you actually step into the woods? Anyway, I got lost in the woods. Yeah, it's very trendy. No, it's not. It's to keep my glasses from falling down, and it works. It's a rubber band. Ingenious. Well, that was a pretty short chapter. I think I want to know what's going to happen. Oh, there's a picture in the next one. It's a longish chapter. Oh, it's a really long chapter. See that? That's how many pages it is, including an illustration. But let's do it. I got to turn my light up a little, my fairy lights. Okay, I won't go up anymore. Yeah, they're pretty, and I like the sounds in the woods and stuff. But I don't like getting lost in the woods. Chapter 13, A Bold Plan. Nancy and Ned stood aghast as the car's taillight finally disappeared. Well, if I'm not a nitwit, Ned said. If I had locked the car, this wouldn't have happened. We'd better run to a telephone and notify the police, he added. A state trooper can overtake your car. Nancy smiled wanly. I'm afraid we'll be too late, Ned, she replied. The nearest phone is about 2 miles from here. The youth frowned. I guess our best chance is to thumb a ride, he said at last. Maybe a driver will give us a lift to town in time to do some good. But Nancy knew there was small chance of anyone driving through the lonely stretch of woods at that hour. She and Ned started hiking toward River Heights, Nancy clutching the jade elephant. Ned looked very forlorn and incongruous in his formal clothes, with a white carnation on his lapel. Nancy's high-heeled shoes were uncomfortable on the rough road, and her stockings were still wet from her dash through the creek. After trudging 2 miles, the couple came to a gas station where Nancy telephoned the state police. The officer said he would notify all patrol cars to be on the lookout. Then he promised to send a trooper to take Nancy and Ned to their homes. Nancy said nothing about the jade elephant, wishing to present it to Mr. Soong or Dick herself. Nancy, Ned said as they reached her house, I'm due to go back to college early tomorrow morning, but I think I'll stick around here and help hunt for your car. No, you go on back to Emerson, she insisted. I have an idea the person who took my car will abandon it somewhere. It'll turn up, as it always does. But next morning, Nancy learned that the police had not found the convertible. When she went into the dining room, her father was finishing his breakfast. Dad, I'm worried, she announced. So far, the police haven't found a single trace of my car. I guess it's gone for good. Togo frisked into the room and barked cheerfully at his mistress. Mr. Drew looked thoughtfully at his daughter as she absently scratched the terrier's ears. Any idea who took the car? He asked at last. Almost certain Manning Carr, someone he was going to meet, is the thief, she answered. The lawyer took a sip of coffee. You're probably right, he agreed. And I don't like the situation. I've done some more checking on Carr. Tell me about him, Nancy said, pushing her concern about the stolen car out of her mind. I learned from the authorities in Washington, Mr. Drew went on, that he's wanted for smuggling and a dozen other offenses. Seems he's of mixed blood. Part Chinese? Nancy interrupted. His mother was Chinese. He's American on his father's side. In appearance, Carr is supposed to resemble his father. Oh, Nancy said excitedly. Now I'm beginning to put 2 and 2 together. And that's not all the story, said her father. Carr has a brother who's also reported to be a criminal, but he's too cunning for anything definite to be known about him. He may be in the Orient or he may be in the United States. The authorities aren't sure which. Does he look like Carr? Nancy asked quickly. No, the lawyer replied. He looks like a Chinese. Nancy mulled over this information. She was sure now the brother was working with Carr. That would account for the second set of footprints which had baffled her. It also would account for the person who had cashed the money orders made out to Mr. Soong. Okay, I'm going to read out everything you said. I wonder what that was. I noticed, and I hate those words. And the critter hunt. Ugh. And are you in kindergarten? 2 and 2 makes 4. Yeah. That is correct. Whew. I want French fries. Carr's brother may be hiding in the enclosure in the woods, she said to herself after her father had left the house. Even Carr may be there. Nancy determined that as soon as she returned the jade elephant, She would investigate the enclosure. She would ask if Bess or George could use the family automobile and drive her there. This time she was going to find out why the fence had been built. Hannah Gruen insisted upon knowing what Nancy was planning. She thought it might be dangerous and felt it was her duty to warn Nancy. You may be trespassing on property that doesn't concern the mystery, she pointed out. Innocent people may live there, and they would have a perfect right to guard their property from intrusion. Nancy hugged the faithful housekeeper. If something happens to me, I know you'll come to the rescue. As Nancy walked to the telephone, Mrs. Gruen smiled. She knew that the young detective was determined to solve the mystery, but that she would not do anything foolhardy. Neither Mr. Soong nor his servant Ching answered the telephone, so Nancy dialed Dick Milton's shop. You know what? It has three things. It's Twinings, which is the best. Let me find the box. It's Twinings, which is an English tea. And it is honeybush, orange, and mandarin. I don't know what honeybush is. Would you like to hear about it? A refreshing herbal tea made with honeybush and the delicious citrus flavors of mandarin and orange. I really want some Welsh tea. And I have some waiting to be bought. Tea from Wales. I mean, it's from Wales, but I'm going to order it from Amazon. I have no idea what it tastes like. Oh, and one of my favorite teas, I've only had it at this wonderful little tea cafe, is Lap Sang Souchong. It's smoky. They have they have a huge tea list, right? And I was like, oh, smoky, that sounds interesting. And it's so yummy. Hi, Ginger Snap. Yeah, I've only had it at this tea house place. So I'm not sure how good the one I'm going to order will be. But as I was reading about it, I read that it was Winston Churchill's favorite tea. Now, where was I? Hold everything, Dick, she said. I found the stolen jade elephant. No fooling. She asked him if he wanted to return the article to Mr. Soong personally. You found the elephant. Please take it to Mr. Soong. Nancy agreed and carefully concealed the piece in a drawer of the dressing table in her bedroom. She would take the jade piece to Mr. Soong later. Humming cheerfully at the prospect of finding the key to the mystery of the enclosure in the woods, Nancy set out for Bess Marvin's house. Her plump friend and George were putting golf balls on the lawn. Nancy described the events of the night before, and the girls listened with astonishment. So I'm looking for a driver to take me to the mystery enclosure, she said in conclusion. Again? Bess gasped. I don't like that place. Oh, don't be a ninny, George retorted. All right, Bess agreed reluctantly. I'll ask Mother if we can take the car. After a few minutes, she reappeared and said she could have it. After a few minutes, she reappeared and said she could have it late that afternoon. It was 4:00 when they started off. This time, they tied a ladder to the top of the car. Bess headed for Three Bridges Road. A short time later, they parked the car and the three girls started off through the woods, carrying the ladder. When they finally saw the familiar four-walled wooden enclosure in the clearing before them, they paused to rest. The mysterious compound was strangely silent. Bess looked apprehensive. Oh, Nancy, I don't like it, she whispered. Let's go back. Don't be a silly, George scolded her cousin. Bess subsided uncomfortably with nervous glances at the surrounding area. Nancy and George picked up the ladder, and the three walked on. Passing the knoll near the Leaning Chimney, Nancy decided to take a look from there. Bess, maybe you were right, Nancy exclaimed. Maybe someone did reach a hand out of the chimney. There's a new symbol up there now. The cousins rushed to Nancy's side and stared in amazement. Nancy, puzzled, told them that the original iron ornament was missing when she and Ned had looked at the chimney. This new one, she said, taking a pencil and pad from her clutch bag, is like the other one, only it has more cross pieces. Looks like an oriental ornament of some sort, George remarked. Nancy said nothing. She asked the others to help her prop the ladder against the fence, then nimbly climbed it. The scene inside the enclosure was exactly the same as when she had viewed it with Ned. There was little to be seen because of trees and bushes. Climbing down, Nancy suggested they move the ladder to a part of the fence over which she had not looked before. The girls carried it to the end of the enclosure opposite the Leaning Chimney. Once more, Nancy surveyed the grounds. See anything? Bess demanded. Nancy glanced down and shook her head. Maybe people just come here once in a while, George ventured. They go in and out all right, Nancy said, and added excitedly, Girls, I see the entrance gate. Where? George asked. Not far from here. It's very cleverly constructed so it doesn't show from the outside. She had barely uttered this statement when Nancy's attention became fixed. Someone's coming, she announced. A strange-looking person. Coming toward Nancy among the trees of the wooden enclosure was a tall woman dressed in a flowing lavender robe. Over her head, she wore a hood of the same color. Encircling her waist was a knotted rope, the ends of which dangled as far down as her sandaled feet. She stared at the girl perched on the ladder. Get down from there at once, she ordered. Going to the gate, she lifted the iron latch and pulled open the cleverly concealed gate. Nancy scrambled down the ladder just as the woman appeared outside the fence. She came rapidly toward the three girls. What are you doing here? She demanded. We didn't mean any harm, Bess stammered, but Nancy interrupted her. We're searching for something, she explained with a friendly smile. We were looking to see if it might be on the other side of the fence. You have no right to spy on our grounds, the woman retorted sharply. Go away and never return. Bess tugged at Nancy's sleeve. Come on. Nancy ignored her friend's suggestion. We'll leave as soon as we learn what we came to find out, she said. The woman's eyes narrowed. What do you want to know? She asked after a moment. We're searching for a pit of china clay, Nancy told her. We have reason to believe it's in this vicinity. Can you tell us anything about it? The woman's hands clenched below the long, wide sleeves of her robe. I know of no such thing. Heed my warning and never come back. Here she is. Here's the lady. George, who had been staring at her long hooded robe, asked suddenly, Are you a member of a religious sect? I belong to the Lavender Sisters, the woman replied. The gardens beyond that wall are sacred. Those who dare defy us and trespass will be tormented by evil spirits until the day they die. Bess turned to Nancy appealingly, but the detective was not yet ready to go. Do Oriental women live here with you? The Lavender Sister gave Nancy a searching look. No. Why do you ask? Because of the symbol on the chimney, Nancy replied. The symbol? The woman asked, puzzled. Then she added quickly, Oh, yes, the symbol. I had forgotten. She gave no further explanation and again ordered the girls away. Hmm. Help me carry the ladder, George, Nancy said. With Nancy carrying one end of the ladder and George the other, the girls started back through the woods. The woman watched them for a while, then she quickly re entered the wooden enclosure and latched the gate behind her. What a strange place for a religious colony, Bess said, ducking under a low hanging branch. I'm not convinced it is a religious colony, Nancy replied. Me neither, George declared. Most of the things the woman said sounded like a lot of mumbo jumbo. I think she's funny in the head. You can't tell, Bess observed seriously. I'm just as glad we're going away from the place. Oh my gosh, I'm running out of breaths. The Lavender Sisters. Say, George exclaimed when they reached a dirt lane. This isn't the way we came, but maybe it connects with the gravel road. They had gone about 200 feet when Nancy stopped short and stared fixedly at something directly ahead of them in a small clearing. It was Nancy's car. Hypers, George cried in disbelief. Excuse me. The girls dropped the ladder and rushed forward. The convertible was undamaged. Nancy opened the door and looked inside the car. Everything was just as she had left it, but the ignition switch was locked and the keys were missing. On the floor lay an old pair of elevator shoes. Nancy turned and faced her friends. I don't know about you two, she declared, but I'm going back to the enclosure and get inside. It's no coincidence that we found my car and these shoes here. I'm sure the car was stolen by some friend of Manning Carr, and I'll bet that enclosure is their hideout. That's why the Lavender sister didn't want us around, George added. I'll go back with you, Nancy, and see what we can find out. But we mustn't get caught, Bess warned. The sunlight was hidden by an overcast as the girls again emerged from among the trees and went toward the fence. Nancy placed the ladder in a different spot from where she had put it before and quickly climbed to the top. Keep watch, she whispered. I'll come out the gate. It took only a moment to break the rusted strands of barbed wire. Then, taking a final look to make sure she was unobserved, the young sleuth carefully dropped the 10 feet down inside the enclosure. She crept cautiously to the edge of a clearing. To the right was a slow down. To the right was the stone wall and the front of the old brick building with the leaning chimney. Just as Nancy had decided to leave the concealment of the shrubs, she saw the Lavender sister come through a small wooden door in the stone wall. At her side trotted a huge mastiff. Nancy moved back farther into the bushes, hoping that her movements would go undetected in the failing light. The huge dog raised his head as if listening, but did not look in her direction. The woman with the mastiff strode toward the gate in the fence. As they came closer to Nancy, she saw that the dog was held by a long chain attached to his collar. Nancy watched with sudden apprehension as the woman went up to the gate. Suppose she should leave the enclosure. She would surely see Bess and George waiting outside. But luck favored the girls. Stepping to one side of the gate, the Lavender sister hooked the leash to an iron ring attached to one of the boards. Leaving the mastiff to stand watch, she started back toward the brick building. So relieved was Nancy at her friend's escape from detection, she had not given any thought to her own plight. But as her eyes returned to the mastiff, the truth struck her with sickening force. She could neither do any investigating without attracting the dog's attention, nor could she leave the wooden enclosure by way of the gate. Indeed, she dared not make the slightest sign or sound that would betray her presence to the mastiff and set him to baying in alarm. She was trapped. End of chapter 13. And that's enough for now because I'm getting pretty tired. Whoops, I forgot how to take my glasses off. Ooh, I think that's going to leave a mark. So if you ever see me live again and I'm going, oh, remind me to go get a rubber band. Thank you. Surely you must be kidding, Samuel. Surely you're joking. Surely you can't be serious. I want long hair. I want long hair. I want long hair down to there again. So great. Look, wait a minute. Oh no, it's okay. Here's my bookmark. Ooh, the next chapter title has an exclamation point. Hi, Herbie. You waking up now? I wish he would go to sleep at the same time I would. Turbo Herbo is on the pillow, on my pillow, on my bed. Yes, sirree, Bob. Look at this. That's how much we've read. Uh-oh, it says ads will run shortly for some viewers. Sorry, some viewers. So pretty cool. She found her car and now she's trapped. I think there should be one more picture, or was that the last one? Nope, there's one more picture in this book, and I'm looking at it. Oh, it's an interesting picture. I am going to put this back in the cupboard or in the bookshelf thingy. Can you see sunflower? So that was fun. I hope you enjoyed those two chapters. If you have been previously listening to the previous chapters. Hi, Daisy May. You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed. And Happy New Year to everybody. And I will see you next time. Bye.